Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me is Marc Roberts, co-founder and owner of 11 hotel and residences, to discuss share intel and insights into why upper income earners are flocking to Florida to escape New Jersey, New York, and California taxes. Marc, it's great to have you with us. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Pleasure to be with you. Thank you for having me.
And Marc, we've seen several headlines over the last few years of big businesses fleeing the Northeast and West Coast for states like Florida and Texas that have much more favorable tax treatment, and it has not escaped top earners either. Tell us about some of the trends that you're seeing in Florida.
Well, I think primarily the trend is people are at first coming down to Florida, particularly Miami and Palm Beach. They think they're coming to escape taxes, and I think also the political environments that they're in, because it's more pro-business. I think that they like the political system much better. But then when they get down to Florida and they start understanding the quality of life, all of a sudden now you're boating on the water. All of a sudden you're at the ocean. All of a sudden you're going to restaurants that are thriving. Everybody's in a good mood. People are working out. I think once they see that environment and see the culture that's being developed in Florida, that they take a look around and say, straight up, I'd rather be living here. And now the tax benefits are kind of like the icing on the cake. And I think that's why you're seeing such an influx of people to Florida in particular and other tax-free states. I can't really speak on behalf of other states. I'm not really an expert on those states, but I consider myself a connoisseur on the South Florida market, and particularly Miami. But I can tell you, people that come to Miami are telling me they're so happy that they're there. Their quality of life, they feel healthier, they feel better. Just going outside and seeing things vibrant. And I think that the word of mouth, which is always the best form of advertising. You can advertise all you want in this world, but there's no better advertising than word of mouth. And the word of mouth from people who are coming is just so astronomical in numbers and how it's magnifying itself, and people are just telling other people how great it is once they get there. And I think that precipitating other people just to flock down. And there's also a ton of people that I know that came down for COVID, like, I got away from New York, let me just get down to Florida. We'll go for a couple of weeks, we'll go for a month, and they literally get down and see what I'm talking about. And all of a sudden, they're selling their homes, they're moving their kids into school here, and they have a whole new life. I could give you one example after another.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's interesting that you brought up the pandemic, and I think now that we understand how to operate in a more virtual hybrid environment, that certainly does lend to the case as well, because there was no other option. I mean, we had to be in a studio. It never crossed our minds we could ever do this virtually, and now, here we are. But and also being in finance, a lot of the people within our circles are in finance and in trading. And I can't tell you how many people have moved to Florida, to Texas. Puerto Rico is another one because of the tax situation. But up here in the Northeast, also with salt and so forth. I mean, it's gotten quite expensive up here for us. So I can certainly see that. But explain to us how this works. Even though there's no state tax in Florida, you have to pay the piper at some point. So is it reflected in property taxes? Where is it being made up?
I think it's primarily made up. There might be a little bit more of a transfer tax on real estate, but it's not really much. It's not significant. People don't feel it at all. I think where it's really being made up is the influx of people who are coming into the state, and now they're spending at restaurants, they're spending on real estate, listen, the homes went from $5 million a home is now 10 million. 10 million is now 20 million. 20 million is now 40 million. And the transfer taxes are a percentage of that. So the states are getting way more percentage. Obviously, 0.00035% of 20 million is a lot greater than 0.0035 of 10 million. So you have the variables of all the property values are going up. So the transfer taxes are much greater. There's so many more people now going to the restaurants. There's so many more people now coming in. They're opening restaurants. Every restaurateur in the country is coming down to Miami now and opening up a restaurant. There's like hundreds of them. So now you're getting landlords are able to, people like a lot of states like New York City and Los Angeles and San Francisco, they're cities, but they are losing a lot of tenants. Therefore, the landlords are not able to pay their mortgage. This guy can't pay his mortgage. Everybody's getting hurt. But in Miami and up to like right up the coast, from like say Coral Gables up to Jupiter, Florida, everybody's fat and happy. And I know on the north side is also doing great. So now everybody's able to. There's no foreclosures. As a matter of fact, it's the opposite. Everybody's values are going up, and everybody's paying like they should, which means the governments are making their money, the states are making their money, the counties are making their money, or the bonds are getting paid. So it's really a triple effect. It's a domino effect. When you have people not paying, there's the ramifications of everything. To city bonds not getting paid on down is astronomical. But in Florida in particular, everything's getting paid, and that's just helping the state and grow and grow and grow and become. I think it's going to become. Miami will become the new New York. Palm Beach.
But that's what happened in New York and in our area up here. It just got so astronomical that people, the average middle income earner just got simply priced out of the market. I mean, for example, look at law enforcement in the city, the communities they serve, they certainly can't afford to live in the city. So, while it's great you're seeing that growth and so forth, you still have to think about the lower and middle income earner as well. Let's switch gears for a second, though.
But I would like to comment on that. I'd like to comment on what you said. Because the city, New York City in particular, I used to live there for a long time, so I'm familiar with it. I feel when you drive out, wealthy people, it's all the rich. Listen, we all work hard. If you work hard in this country and you have a successful business, God bless you. But what you get to do then is hire people. You get to hire people who are so-called middle class, and now they can work their way up and they can be whatever they want to be. So New York is driving out people, but now you have people coming into Florida and Texas, and Nevada, and people. They're not going to sit at home and watch cartoons. These people are now opening up businesses, and what they're doing when they open up businesses, they need people to work at their businesses. So there's much more opportunity, I feel, for people in the middle class to have jobs and work, and the ambitious can move up and keep moving up in the hierarchy and be whatever they want to be.
So let's switch gears in the last minute here and focus on that. Clearly, you're in the hotel business. One of the things that we're hearing about, particularly up here with the reopening, it's hard to get workers back. Have you faced that in Florida since the state was relatively open, or are you seeing a shortage of workers as well?
Well, we're building 2 towers off our brand. Our 11 nightclub is the most successful nightclub in the world, and it's got such a strong brand. We're selling condos like crazy. But I could tell you in the 11, in my business, the workers are coming back, and we have a great staff, and they do well. And I feel that if you have a very successful business, people know they could prosper and grow in the business, have a chance to move up, that you will not have a problem with workers. I have heard a lot of other businesses that do have issues, and I just feel the stimulus the government is giving people are making them lazy, and they don't want to come back. They don't understand this is going to end one day. So those jobs available, and I don't understand why people who are getting the stimulus don't understand. Go back to work. Look, I don't even care if you're making the same money, but now you have a chance to advance. You have a chance to work your hard. But the government is just making people lazy, I feel. And when the day comes that this all ends, I don't know what's going to happen to some of those people.
In fairness, you also have commuting costs, and childcare costs is quite high. So I can understand, especially since school has been, the schedule hasn't been consistent this year. So I think that might change once we get back into September and the kids are back at school. So in fairness there, but it was great spending time with you, Marc. I know where I'm going next time I'm in Miami, and look forward to catching up. Thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you. Look forward to you being our guest. Thank you very much.
You got it. Thanks for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you.